Thank you so much, Hope. As you mentioned, I'm here with Fair CEO Scott Painter. Scott, thank you so much for joining us again here on Cheddar.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so just as a recap, you are doing away with this traditional car leasing, saying it's boring for today's consumer, and Fair, it's not a rental, it's not a lease, it's not a loan. So how do you describe it?
Well, it's really a new way to get access to a vehicle, and it's all on your phone. So there's none of the traditional complexity that goes with buying a car. So we handle all of the tax, the title, the registration, and we even sell month-to-month insurance. Okay,
so of course you guys were on our show last September, as Hope mentioned, and you've announced last month a new strategic round of funding led by BMW, iVentures, Mercedes, Penske Automotive Group. Is the goal now, are you on track to expand and roll out nationwide with the new funds?
We are. So in fact, the investments, I think, both validate the company just because they're from strategic investors, but they do give us the fuel to really grow the business. And the goal is in 2018 to be across the entire U.S.
So now, of course, we can get Mercedes, BMWs. What are the other cars that people can find on Fair?
Literally all cars are on Fair. It is a pretty wide open app. It works for both ends of the market. It doesn't matter whether you're somebody on a really tight budget looking to find a car to just get to work, or whether you're somebody who's looking to have the convenience of being able to go from car to car without all of the complexity that normally comes with tax, title, and registration.
So yeah, let's get to some of the specifics again. Will we pay more for this flexible ownership model than a traditional lease?
You know, I think whenever you ask somebody to do something differently, you can't ask them to also pay a premium. We've actually not only built it because it's less expensive, but we've guaranteed that it's less expensive. We benchmark what you would otherwise see from a traditional loan offer or from a traditional lease. So all of that logic is built into the technology today. So when you use Fair, you actually are saving money, a lot of money over a traditional rental, about 40% over a traditional 3-year car loan, and quite a bit over a traditional lease on a competing new car, because there are no used car leases that are in the marketplace today.
So let's talk about the algorithm of the technology. Does it actually source maybe a deal at a dealership and then give us a better option or a better price?
So these are all pre-owned cars, and they're all cars that are currently for sale at dealerships across the country. So there are currently about 4.5 million vehicles that are for sale at any given time in the U.S. We detect all of those vehicles being advertised for sale. We determine which vehicles are fairly priced. Then we run them through our financing algorithm. The way the app works is when you download the app, you scan your driver's license, and we instantly approve you for a monthly payment. All the vehicles in the app are presented with a single monthly payment that includes a warranty, roadside assistance, standard maintenance, and we even sell the excess wear and tear and standard collision and liability insurance on a month-to-month basis. So think of it sort of like an iTunes account for your car, where you've got an all-in, single, low cost of ownership. That's a much simpler way to manage the overall complexity of owning a car.
You know, taking on some of these people that have no credit or bad credit seems like a risk. But so are you're taking on the risk, the company, because you guys go and buy the car yourself?
So Fair is actually purchasing the vehicle and simultaneously entering into an agreement with you as the user to have that car for as long or as little as you want. So you're not bound by any term or commitment.
But you're not a broker. It's not like a broker, though, right?
We're actually buying the vehicle and simultaneously entering into that contract with you. And the entire transaction happens for you, the consumer, on your phone. You sign for it literally with your finger. You can then go to the dealership and pick up the vehicle, or the dealership will bring the car to you. But that car is yours to use for as long as you want. You get all the benefits of ownership, so all the optionality to go where you want, when you want, all the security and all the status that comes with it to say that's my car. And the benefits of ownership without having to worry about depreciation or any of that, because we actually buy the car, we manage all of the tax, the title, the registration, and all of that complexity for you, and give you a warranty and a standard maintenance plan, so you have the peace of mind of not having to worry about the car being a pre-owned vehicle.
Now, Scott, you, of course, were the former CEO over at TrueCar. So what did you learn from that experience that you're now integrating into Fair?
I think, well, first of all, it's been a pretty exciting time to be in the car business. I think what really unlocks this is the ability to understand what a vehicle is worth. So one of the things that we developed at TrueCar is a level of clarity around the retail market and what others pay for their car that gives us a very deep understanding, almost artificial intelligence level clarity around what a car is worth, both new and used, because we can also see now the wholesale market, and not just today, but also in the future. And what that really gives us the ability to do is unlock financing an entire asset class differently than we have before. So up until now, we've been forcing consumers to go out and get a car loan or a lease, borrow what is traditionally about a third of the average person's net worth to buy a huge depreciating asset that they have no idea what it's going to be worth at the end of their term. So not only do you have to go through all of that complexity, the confrontation at the dealership, and we're wondering whether you got a good deal on the vehicle, then when you finally sell that car, you have to become a used car salesman, try to sell it, or take it to the dealership and wholesale it, and usually lose between 30 and 50% of the vehicle's value in that moment. So,
and I've done both, and they're both terrible avenues. I've done the whole lease trader, of course. It seems like that is another big business that you would kind of be taking a bite out of, is these swap-a-lease traders as well.
Well, I think swap-a-lease and lease trader are really sort of a byproduct of a very, very rigid financial contract, the lease, which is a term-based product. In order for the lessor to actually count on their revenue, they have to know that you're going to be stuck in that car for 36 months, 24 months. And I've really spent my career trying to address the problems that most millennials or modern buyers have with buying a car. A lot of it has to do with the confrontation at the dealership, but just as much of it has to do with the commitment. And it's not just the commitment that comes with the financing contract. A car is a big thing. It usually costs about 50% of average gross income. So you're not going to strand it. If you get a job, or you need to travel, or you need to go out of town, or if you're in the military and you get on deployment, you've got to be able to get out of that car in a reliable way. And so this really solves that problem.
Well, I wish this existed a few months ago, Scott, when I needed it. So very, very exciting. That's all the time we have for Scott Painter, of course, CEO of FAIR. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to go back to Everett, New York Stock Exchange.